Good evening, everybody. It's wonderful to see a full audience here for a great cause. I'd like to call the meeting to order.
This meeting will also be conducted by audio and video conference without the requirement of a physically present quorum of the Rock Island City Council due to the disaster declaration issued by Governor Pritzker. Because of this order related to COVID-19 health concerns affecting the state and the city, the mayor has determined that an in-person meeting at City Hall with all participants may not be practical or prudent. Alderpersons and staff may not all be physically present at City Hall due to the disaster, and physical attendance at City Hall may be limited. To participate remotely during the public comment or public hearing portion of this meeting, please join by phone at 1-518-547-0854, PIN 520-006-470#.
Thank you very much. Roll call.
Alderperson Robinson.
Present.
Hurt.
Here.
Gilbert. Present. Swanson.
Here.
Parker.
Here.
Poulos.
Here.
Healy.
Here.
And Mayor Tomes.
Here. Can we stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? Remain standing for a moment of silence, please.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Public comment. Thank you. We have several people that signed up for public comment. We have Ty. There you are.
Good evening. My name is Ty Wakefield. I'm a psychotherapist and a downtown Rock Island resident where I own 4 parcels, a condo, a storage unit, and 2 parking spaces. In the spirit of transparency, I want to start off by saying I'm here speaking for myself and not on behalf of my condo association. Unfortunately, due to my work schedule, I have not been able to speak to you all at past meetings, so I took PTO to be with you tonight. I would like to put it on the record that I am not opposed to an SSA, but I am opposed to the current proposal developed by the Chamber of Commerce. I reached out to all City Council members about my concerns. I want to thank those who have reached or responded to me, and for those who haven't, you'll be able to hear my thoughts now. On December 21st, 2021, I emailed Jack Cullen asking for more information on the proposed SSA. I got a quick response, and in the email, Mr. Cullen wrote, quote, "Beginning in January, it is my plan to contact 100% of downtown property owners throughout the winter months about our plans for downtown," unquote. I was optimistic and thanked Mr. Cullen for getting back to me. To my surprise, Mr. Cullen did not reach out to me again. And from my understanding, he has not reached out to 100 of us by now. It wasn't until June 15th, 2022, Mr. Collins scheduled a meeting with my condo association. That is 5 months later than when he told me he was reaching out to property owners. Only 4 out of the 9 condo owners were present. During this meeting, Mr. Cullen gave us a quick rundown on how he believed the SSA would benefit us. I personally asked how he envisioned the SSA to benefit my block of downtown. He said we could get a banner. A banner for what? He couldn't tell me. Much of the services proposed, such as snow removal, we already pay in our monthly HOA dues. Mr. Cullen mentioned the facade and internal improvement grants during our meeting. As part of his sales pitch of the SSA, he explained these grants would be available to Clippers Condos, where I live, to assist with any improvements we may need. I thought, great, this is going to be how the SSA could benefit us as a condo association. As I reviewed the budget proposal from the July 25th, 2022 study session, I saw no mention if these grant dollars, totaling $60,000, would be available for condo associations and or businesses, the number of grants available each year, how much each grant will be for, nor a plan for how these grants could be applied for each year. I believe it was Alderwoman Swanson who asked how the SSA would benefit homeowners in the July 25th, 22 study session. These grant dollars would be the only way I see the SSA benefiting me and other homeowners and condo owners in the downtown. But I need to see in black and white that we would qualify before I agree to an SSA. Now, speaking of the budget, I am flabbergasted that we are considering spending $234,750, or about 44% of the proposed budget, on Mr. Cullen as Executive Director's salary and Operations Director and fees to the Chamber of Commerce. From my understanding, the revenue created by an SSA needs to go directly back to the community within the SSA boundaries, not the Chamber. Now, since it is an election year, I'm sure many, like myself, are being bombarded with political ads. I had the opportunity to recently watch Mayor Tome's ad for State Senate. I have to say I completely agreed with the message of lowering costs and taxes, reducing corruption, and most importantly, reducing waste. I ask all of council, would paying 44% of a budget to the Chamber of Commerce be benefiting the downtown property owners who are responsible for paying most of that bill? Or is it possible that could be considered as wasteful? I challenge everyone on the council who campaigns to fight against waste to consider this. Lastly, I want to leave you with a quote. Albert Einstein has been attributed to saying, quote, "If you cannot explain it simply, you do not understand it well enough," unquote. As I watched the July 25th, 22 City Council meeting, it seemed that Mr. Cullen struggled to answer the questions posed by council members. At one point, Kyle Carter, the downtown Davenport director, intervenes to answer council questions. If Mr. Cullen cannot answer questions about his proposal simply, then I'm left to believe that he does not understand it well enough. I grew up in Rock Island, and I choose to live in Rock Island because it's a diverse community with good people at its heart. I believe with the right leadership and the right plan for an SSA, the downtown could thrive again. Unfortunately, I don't believe the current proposal will allow for this. I hope you will consider what I have said before you decide to vote on the plan to negotiate with the Chamber of Commerce tonight. Thank you, and thank you for all you do for the city.
Thank you. Michael Walsh.
Mr. Walsh couldn't be here tonight, but he sent me his letter and asked that I read it to council.
Okay,
So if you want me to get up, I'll go over there. But
you're fine.
okay. To the Rock Island City Council, to whom it may concern. As a native-born Rock Island businessman, I have questions and concerns in regards to the proposed special assessment. I will begin by first mentioning that I am in agreement with efforts to improve the living and business conditions of the city. Rock Island is a place where I continue to enjoy friends, family, and service to the community as a licensed counselor. My experience with the SSA plan began with a letter in the mail that I received at my office in the Dumarche Townhomes Edition on 3rd Avenue. The letter asks that I sign and return a form if I am in agreement with the proposed taxation on property value. My initial reaction was dismay, as my property taxes are over $4,100 annually for a property I paid $139,000 for. I very well understand that property taxes are divided to provide for a wide range of city and county services, and that some necessities unfortunately go underserved. Regardless, the resident and/or business owner's chief concern is how much money is coming in and going out of their own budget. At a time when gasoline is $4.29 per gallon, milk is $4 per gallon, and eggs are $4 per carton, I find it questionable as to how many property owners are eager to volunteer for a new tax that will siphon hundreds of dollars out of their budgets each year. Without knowing exactly why the thousands of dollars we currently pay in taxes is insufficient to cover basic and essential functions of the city's downtown area, I did not return the signed form. After reading Mrs. Gilbert's recent assessment of the SSA situation, I question the validity of the survey process. There is a difference between a sample and a population as it relates to a survey. The population is the full set of individuals who could take part in the research. A sample is a subset of the population. Ms. Gilbert's statement indicates to me that a subset of the total population has been surveyed and is 55% in agreement. This is quite different than saying 55% of the total population is in agreement of the SSA. If this suggestion is matter of fact, it certainly casts doubt as to the validity of the survey. If a researcher stands to yield results they are hoping to find by collecting data from a sample, they may choose that means of validating their claim or finding what they want to find. If collecting data from an entire population is likely to yield results that would refute their claim, then collecting data from the entire population may be avoided. This process can be done with intent to mislead, or it can be done out of ignorance of mathematics and statistical data analysis. It is my opinion the public should be fully informed of the data collection methods, survey design methods, the qualifications of those who designed and administered the survey, and transparency in regards to what the percentages are measuring. Here's an easy example. Let's say I want to prove that a town with a population of 100 prefers Pepsi-Cola. If I send out 100 surveys asking to check yes or no in favor of Pepsi-Cola, 100 people respond, and 55 voted yes, I know that 55% of the town prefers Pepsi-Cola. If 10 people return the survey and 6 people respond yes, I know that 60% of the sample of 10 prefers Pepsi-Cola. If I state that I have found 60% of people in town prefer Pepsi-Cola, I have made a spurious claim and my research is seriously flawed. To add gas to the fire, if the survey instructions ask respondents to return the form to Mr. Walsh at Walsh Pepsi Company, I would hope there would be zero confidence amongst the town as to my claim. The form I received asked me to sign and return to the Chamber of Commerce office. The form did not include no or not in favor as an option. The form did not include any language indicating that decisions would be made based upon a sample response from only the sample of positive yes responses, and that all other property owners would be essentially discounted from the process. I am in favor of efforts to improve our downtown. I am also in favor of honesty, transparency, and unbiased professional research methods. Given the lack of clarity in regards to the means of arriving at conclusions relative to the support of this assessment and the ambiguity surrounding the provision of services and measurement of objectives, I strongly encourage the city to consider consultation with an unbiased organization capable of performing an ethical and proper survey of the population. Respectfully, John Michael Walsh, M.A.
Thank you. All right, next up is Ashley.
Good evening, everyone.
Good.
I want to say thank you for being here. Full council on holiday, dedication. For all those that don't know me, my name is Ashley Harris, and I'm with the Rock Island Community Care Conference. And I come to you tonight to ask the city's support in our proposal. We're looking for funding so we can return back to our heydays, so the CCC can return back to full strength. I'm going to read a few things that I have written. Thousands of Rock Island residents have participated in the Community Care Conference since its start in 1976. Hundreds upon hundreds of neighborhood meetings and improvement projects have been organized over the years under the banner of the CCC. Over those 45 years plus, neighbors have become friends, crimes surely have been prevented, serious public issues have been addressed, and a sense of community has arisen in places across our city. By bringing people together, the CCC, in many ways, provides an opportunity for neighbors to do what should come natural: connecting, bonding, acting together to improve their part of the world. Too often these days, however, these simple steps get missed. We become too busy, distracted, unaware, or afraid to take the first steps. That's where the CCC comes in. If we want to connected, organized neighborhoods, we need to invest time, energy, and expertise. The CCC does neighborhood organizing. Dozens of staff people have served as neighborhood organizers over the past years at the CCC. Many people from a wide variety of backgrounds have dedicated years of work in building community in Rock Island, all because the CCC gathered the resources and provided the framework for their efforts. Under a volunteer board of directors, staff have written grants, applications, provided supervision, and gone out and knocked on doors, made phone calls, then joined neighborhood gatherings in their living rooms, backyards, churches, and parks. In recent years, CCC's history, a team of 3 or more were employed as organizers. They helped to develop new leadership in our community through encouragement, guidance, prodding, and perhaps most of all, through inviting. We are all more likely to get out and do something when we see others participating, and we're personally asked to do something. About 10 years ago, some challenging circumstances brought the Community Care Conference efforts to a temporary halt. Before long, though, enough people realized that Rock Island had become a lonelier place and truly needed the CCC. A new board was formed, activities were restarted, funds were raised, and the CCC was back in action. Then again, the CCC was able to provide for a single part-time neighborhood organizer, which is myself. We now have 28 block clubs, neighborhood watch groups in Rock Island, and the organization's larger citywide efforts have been reestablished. Our years past National Nights Out events and our Heroes Banquet were each attended by over 250 people and were among the best the CCC has ever had. It's now time for the Community Care Conference to be brought back to full strength. We would like to employ 3 people on staff doing the good necessary work of neighborhood organizing in Rock Island, coordinate 60 or more organized neighborhood watch block clubs in the city, as we did some years ago. Bring motivation and momentum into the efforts of newly organized groups, establish a central office and a meeting place where the CCC becomes more visible and vibrant, expand our limited training opportunities to grow new leaders and learn from efforts across the country. Use this unique funding opportunity to expand grant application and fundraising efforts for future years. With additional resources, the Community Care Conference can fully function at the level we have experienced before and that we envision for the years ahead. Our objectives: identify, train, and develop 75 new neighborhood leaders each year over the next 3 years for a total of 225 new leaders. Organize and coordinate 15 new block clubs, neighborhood watch groups per year for a total of 45 new groups. Organize and coordinate 15 neighborhood improvement activities per year, including cleanup days, traffic issues, specific crime prevention response campaigns, and other public issues of concerns to residents. Expand and enhance the CCC's website, Facebook page, and other social media efforts. Survey the dozens of existing neighborhood watch signs that are posted across Rock Island. If no neighborhood group is active in that area, offer residents an opportunity to become organized. Keep the signs posted if the area is active, reactivate it, or have signs in inactive areas removed by Public Works by the end of the 2nd year. Connect new and existing leaders with training opportunities with asset-based community development. Thank you. Now, I would also like to add, the things that we do with the CCC, we go block by block. Literally, we go block by block. And how that serves the community from block by block to ward by ward to the city as a whole. We have a lot of issues would be the wrong word, but we have a lot of things going on here in Rock Island that need to be addressed. Our citizens need to be brought more in the know with available programs and resources that's available to them. A lot of people don't know about. The CCC wants to be a part of that. We want to have a location. We want to be vibrant. We want to be brought back to full strength like we were years ago. Right now, I am the only organizer. However, Rock Island is a lot bigger than me, so we need help. And it would behoove the council to consider our proposal to sustain us, to seriously sustain us for the next 3 years so we can try to make those changes, so we can try to be proactive with a lot of things like gun violence and things of that nature. Now, I do know that the city's active, the city's passionate, they do want change, they do want solutions. However, with the city's structure, a lot of times they can't get to the grassroots level, and that's where the CCC comes in. I would love for you guys to invest in people and organizations that want to invest in you, that want to invest in the community. It would behoove each council member to consider this proposal, because stronger wards under your leadership, you know, that's good. That's good campaigning. That's good governing. It's good community-based things. Right now, we are heavy on the service side of a community, meaning we have a lot of organizations with programs that help people. Well, our end game goal here is to be more of an asset-based community, to where we can dwindle down on people needing those services. Those are just, in a nutshell, what the CCC is trying to provide. And we need support, we need funding for that, and I ask that the council considers our proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Been a great organization for many years, so thank you. All right, is anybody virtual for public comment? Hearing none. We will move on. Item number 7.
I'm sorry. I had a PowerPoint. I'm just going to give it to you guys, but I also emailed you individually, each one of you individually, so you can just go over it at the time, whenever you have time.
Appreciate that.
Just to let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Item number 7.
Minutes from the September 26, 2022 study session and city council meeting.
Move to approve the minutes as printed.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Yes.
Gilbert. Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Aye.
Item number 8.
Minutes from the September 26, 2022 closed session.
Motion to approve the closed session minutes.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert. Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Poulos.
Item number 9, update Rock Island. Got a couple quick items here. Free leaf collection is being provided to residential customers from Monday, October 17th through Friday, October 17th through Friday, December 9th. In addition to providing leaf collection, the city will also furnish leaf bags at no cost. Bags will be available beginning October 10th at the Public Works Department, South Rock Island Township Office, Rock Island Township Assessor's Office, and Saukey Golf Course, 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Attention, all ghosts, goblins, witches, and wizards. Halloween trick-or-treating for the city of Rock Island is Monday, October 31st from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The Botanical Center will host its annual Not So Scary Halloween Walk, October 14th, 21st, 27th, and 28th, from 6:30 to 8. Dress up the little ghosts and goblins and explore the nooks and crannies of the Sun Garden's wander down Darkness Pass and get a glimpse of Halloween Train in the popular Train Garden. Community Caring Conference will host its annual Hero Awards Banquet on Thursday, November 10th at the Stern Center. Community Caring Conference will recognize local heroes and celebrate its 46th anniversary. So there we go. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Did you have something? Oh. Item number 10.
Presentation of the 2022 Labor Day Parade Awards. Mary Chapel.
And Grace Shirk.
The audience, as we're going to be giving them the awards tonight. Good evening, my name's Grace Shirk. I'm here on behalf of the Rock Island Labor Day Parade Committee Advisory Board, and I would like to welcome all of you to tonight's awards presentation. Before I get started, I'm going to have a lot of thank yous out there because this parade doesn't happen overnight. And the entries, a lot of people spend a lot of time on, and there's a lot of wonderful city staff and resident citizens within Rock Island and out who helped to make this parade possible, and a lot of families and friends. So, we are happy to announce we had another safe parade with a special thank you to our Rock Island Police Department, who helped with traffic control. We are grateful that the Rock Island Fire Department was also present, and so we're thankful for them. They are there to handle any medical emergencies. Thank goodness, to my knowledge, there were none. We are thankful to the various departments within Public Works for their support for the parade, including assistance from the Streets and Engineering Department. A very special thank you to the staff, to the Park District and Parks and Recreation for their organizational support of this event. This especially includes Dan Gleason, Kimberly Cruzy, and Nathan Berthoud. Very special thank you to them who attended a lot of our meetings, if not all. The CED Department, Community Development, we would like to thank Kathy Douglas in particular for her help with signs, maps, banners. You know, this year's parade had 8 musical groups, and some people don't realize that, but we are able to have so many musical groups with the help and support of community organizations. So organizations like Rock Island and South Rock Island Township, who sponsored Sheltered Reality. McDonald's Restaurants of Rock Island sponsored the Rock Island High School Marching Band. Wheelan Funeral Home sponsored Rockridge High School Band. Carmen Jewelry of Moline sponsored the Moline High School Marching Band. And the Rock Island Police Benevolent Association, thank you to them for sponsoring the St. Ambrose University Marching Band. We also have to thank the wonderful football team from Washington Junior High who helped us by carrying the banners throughout the parade. A special thank you to the Youth Service Bureau for their post-parade cleanup efforts. They did a great job. I drove by afterwards. Didn't see a lot there, and with all the candy that's given out, that's pretty good. A very special thank you to Kate Wilfong McKinley and Tom McKinley, who are the official photographers of the parade. And you're going to see in a little bit when we show you the winners, they're going to have some of the pictures, if not all the pictures of all of the winners. They do an amazing job. Additional thanks have to go to the parking lots that allow us to use their lots to do the announcing of the parade. A few years back, we decided to have announcers there, and a special thank you to Bill Sowards, to Dan Gleason, and they always put me in there, but we all do the announcing. I feel silly saying thank you, Grace. But additional thanks to the owners of those parking lots for allowing us to do that. We also have to thank the people who donated their convertibles. If you have a convertible and you'd like to help us carry those wonderful dignitaries throughout the parade, we could sure use your help. Get a hold of the wonderful and fearless Mary Chappell. Along with that, we have to especially thank Mark Zimmerman for use of his vintage car that carried this year's marshal throughout the parade. Invaluable support comes from the members of the Amateur Radio Club who provide communication and help us. So if I say, Mary, we got a problem, they just radio her and it works out great. We have to thank our mayor and city council because they continue to support us every year, which allows us to have this parade. Now let's talk about this parade. Do you know that there's 8 members of the board, and a lot of them are here tonight? And I'm going to ask that they stand because they deserve to be recognized for their work. So if we could get Art Milton to stand, please. Grace already standing. Kay Whitley. Bill Sowards. Come on. Edna Sowards. Vicki Hess. I got to have Linda stand, even though she's not official. The parade, she works every year with us. And our fearless and amazing organizer, Mary Chappell, who also writes all this script. I'm not the talented one, she is. This parade has been going on for 38 years, and 62 additional family, friends, volunteers come together every year to help make this parade possible on Parade Day. And it's safe to say we couldn't have this event with all those people not participating or being part of it. And a special thanks to the big guy in the sky, the good Lord who gave us a beautiful day and made sure the weather department was doing their job. Before I close, I've got to pass along some other information that we would like to share. There were 8 city officials in the parade. 5 city departments were represented, 20 organizations, 11 businesses, 8 individuals and families that developed an entry of their own, 7 clubs, 5 registered politicians, 28 schools, school and associated groups, 4 local churches, 6 military groups, which is a lot for this year, 12 musical groups, and 1 Santa Claus. He came all the way down from the North Pole to be part of this special event. So you know it was 38 years for the Rock Island Labor Day Parade. And did you know that we started this parade as part of the sesquicentennial celebrating the 150th birthday of the city of Rock Island? And there were 7 of the entries that have participated and answered the call from the very first one 38 years ago and have been participating ever since. So we got to give them kudos. So kudos to the Association of Retired Firefighters, the Rock Island Fire Department, the Rock Island Mylands School District, the Rock Island High School Band, the Rock Island Police Department, Whitey's Ice Cream, always a favor, and Valley Construction Company. So give them a hand, because they've been in it for 38 years. We also, of course, got to thank you, the public, all of you, Rock Island, surrounding communities. You're going to see somebody get an award tonight from LeClaire because they come to our old-fashioned Labor Day parade, and we're so happy to have them. People can participate with entries, sponsorships, being there watching the parade, or anything, really. Just give us a call. We'll help you be a part of it. Rain or shine, it's always so wonderful to see all the wonderful faces out there. And my neighbor, happened to be in it for the first time, and they were just amazed at how many people were there. They said they handed out 500 little army men and then another 750 pieces of candy, and they ran out before they got halfway. It was amazing. Years ago, the Argus printed an article that said, community involvement is the key to this parade's success. And that quote holds true even all 38 years later. So it's good to hear. So now we are going to get to the matter at hand why a lot of you are here. We have some wonderful awards to give out. Our theme this year was Marvelous Rock Island. So looking at that, we have categories for Mayor's Cup, Council Choice, Advisory Board Choice, Citizens Choice, and then we had some new best categories. And best float, best business, best church, best school. So let's do it. Is anybody here for Denkman Elementary School? Hi, come on down, a former student of mine. Yes, of course. How could I forget you? Come on in. Come on in. You gotta give me a hug. Hi, congratulations. Denkman, this year's entry was based on the Marvelous Rock Island theme. Students and parents were out in force with many dressed in superhero costumes. Their vehicle also decorated with green star-shaped balloons. As you can see up there, we have some little superheroes. They're going to ask, actually, they want them to stand up here so we can get a group. Is that okay? That's fine. Then we're going to have the best church, Refuge Church. Do we have a representative here? Okay, we will get it to them. Several members of this growing church community participated in this year's parade. In addition to church vehicles, several members of the congregation rode on a float decorated with balloon arches as they walked and carried out flyers. Our business entry winner is Custom Whips and Car Auto. Are they here tonight, audio? They're missing out on all this fun. The owner of this business did a great job of showcasing the many types of vehicles that he owns, from classic cars, and I'm probably going to pronounce this wrong, to a Polaris, and a unique 4-person circular bicycle. It was great to see so many employees and family members in the parade. The best float. Now, we did something different this year. We're always trying to get more floats in the parade. Remember the wonderful floats used to have in old-time parades? And so, as an incentive, we tried to offer some monetary incentive. So it's 100 place to the second place winners, to the first place, 75 to the second place, and 50 to the third. So we would like to invite the Mylands Lions Club up. So I bet you didn't know you were getting a check tonight. We were excited to have an entry from the Mylands Lions Club, which included the lion mascot. Several club members rode on a decorated float that featured a rocket ready to blast off. Our second place goes to the Ark of the Quad Cities. Celebrating 70 years of serving marvelous people. I loved their theme. That was a beautiful theme. So 70 years of serving marvelous people was the theme of this year's entry from the Ark. Their float was trimmed in gold and featured superheroes with capes and mats who walked alongside the float. And our first place goes to Celebrate Recovery Program. Woo-hoo! Celebrate Recovery Program is housed at Edgewood Baptist Church. Several congregation members walked the route beside their float, which had music and announced the many services that are offered through Celebrate Recovery. We also need you to know this is their 20th anniversary they're celebrating.
Amen. Sure.
Thank you very much.
Wait.
All right. Yep. Politician smile.
Politicians.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, we usually try to get citizen input. So Kay and I go up and down the parade route and we hand out forms where people, the citizens, can vote. So this is 6 random parade watchers, and we took the single entry that got the most votes from them, and we're happy to say it's Quad City 50s and Friends. Are they here? Okay. The LeClaire, Iowa group I was telling you about. They are always a fun group with great music. They come all the way from LeClaire, Iowa. They feature a retro entry, featured a truck and Coca-Cola trailer with Elvis music. And several members of the group are playing air guitars and dressed in 50s attire, even including their poodle skirts. Thank you.
Wait over on this side if you want.
Okay. A few years back, we decided that the parade board does a lot of work, and we all have our favorite entries, so we decided to start picking our favorite entry, and this year it's going to go to the Fraternal Order of Eagles. So if you would come on down. Anybody who's an Eagle member? The Fraternal Order of Eagles had quite a presence in this year's parade. Members were out in force riding on a decorated truck that featured their eagle mascot, signage, and they promoted many of the services and causes that they offer to the community. Okay, we're almost done here, guys. Council's choice. The city council, collectively, again, we take all of their entries and take the number one choice. And it is the Midwest Technical Institute of Moline. Seeing this entry is believing. The entry from the Midwest Technical Institute featured a utility trailer carrying a cooling system with extra long flexible ducts that cooled people off along the parade route. There was cool air coming out of there. It was a sight to see. Okay, almost.
Thank you. Thank you.
And last but not least, the Mayor's Cup. The Mayor's Cup this year, as selected by Mayor Tomes, goes to the Black family of Rock Island. As you can see up on the screen, it says just married. And that lovely young couple in the back were just married. The members of this special family had a special Labor Day weekend this year. Daughter Janelle, former student, and new husband David were married the Saturday before the parade. The sweetest part to the story, let me tell them the sweetest story real quick, was they met at the parade. Their first date was at the parade 6 years ago. Okay, they're gonna get one big group picture, right?
Yeah, this ought to be interesting.
Scrunch in, scrunch.
We don't either.
The old short people up front.
Funny ears if you like. I mean, we're standing behind you. I think we're Facebook and there's like half my face.
I always try to find myself.
Oh, they're right.
Get cozy.
Yeah, we're good.
Smile. Say Rock Island Labor Day Parade.
Oh, you need to. Oh, yeah. She thought she was gonna hide.
Oh, no, you're not.
Rock Island Labor Day Parade. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay, one more round of applause for everybody, please.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being a part of the parade. And thank you, everybody. In fact, next year, I want to see you, and you, and you, and you, and you're welcome. And everybody out there, come join us for the 39th Annual Labor Day Parade for the City of Rock Island. God bless you all, and have a good night.
Hot mic. Don't need any hot mic moments, Mike. We're real close to the election.
Yeah. Good point.
Looking out for you.
I need as many as I can. Wow.
Yeah, that's right.
Give it a few minutes here to let them leave. And
Bumptious crowd.
yes,
So noisy.
that's good. It's good to see the enthusiasm.
Oh, yeah. Always a good time.
Creativity, positivity, creativity, it's just, it is wonderful. It's quite a parade. It's a long one.
Huh? Well, I mean, it's a handful.
Okay, we will then continue on with item number 11.
Consent agenda.
Motion to approve consent agenda items A through I.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye. Item number 12.
Claim, report from the Public Works Department regarding payment to Langman Construction of Rock Island in the amount of $216,618.32 for the 2022 Asphalt Street Milling and Patching Program, Project 2434, for services provided April 1 through July 28, 2022.
Motion to allow the claim. Second.
Moved and second, any discussion?
Due to the nature of my employment, I need to recuse myself from this vote.
Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Pulis.
Aye. Item 13.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding sealed bids for the Rock Island Arsenal backflow testing and maintenance, recommending the bid be awarded to Shebler Heating and Air, Inc. of Bettendorf in the amount of $58,292.
Motion to award the bid as recommended and authorize the city manager to execute the contract documents.
Second.
Moved and second, any discussion?
Due to the nature of my work, I need to recuse myself.
Okay. Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye. Item 14.
Report from the Public Works Department requesting permission to negotiate contracts with Shive Hattery of Bettendorf, Iowa for design services for the water treatment plant roof replacement project.
Move to authorize city staff to negotiate a contract with Shive Hattery, Inc. for architectural design services on the water treatment plant roof replacement project.
Second. Moved and seconded, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye. Item 15.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding a request from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineer to acquire a permanent sanitary sewer easement on Rock Island parcels 0736102-001 and 0736101-001 for $3,000.
Move to approve the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers acquisition of a permanent sanitary sewer easement for $3,000 and authorize the city manager to execute the documents.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye. Item 16.
Report from the city attorney, Dave Morrison, regarding a settlement agreement for pending litigation involving the Black Hawk Fire Protection District.
Move to approve the settlement agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Item 17.
Report from the Police Department regarding a memorandum of understanding with Rock Island County and the City of Moline for the 2022 Justice Assistant Grant.
Motion to approve the memorandum of understanding as recommended and authorize the mayor, city clerk, and city attorney to sign the agreement.
Second.
Moved and seconded, any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson. Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye. Item 18.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding the sale of city-owned property located at 1100 6th Street, pin 16032-15005, to Phyllis Phillips for $1,642.50 plus closing costs, first reading.
Motion to approve the sales as recommended, authorize city manager to execute the sales agreement, suspend the rules, and pass the ordinance.
Consider the ordinance.
Consider and pass the ordinance.
I promise you guys,
Second.
we will
Second.
give you cheat cards.
You got a
I
second?
wrote it down and everything. I went back and studied, and I still got it wrong. Okay, I'm sorry.
Get you a cheat.
It's been
Consider
moved,
the
it's
ordinance.
been moved and seconded.
Can we have it just taped to the back?
That's
What I said last
It
meeting.
was on there last time. I'm looking like, okay, it's not on there. Here we go.
Do it this time.
And it will be me.
I always tease Dylan about this, because we used to do this all the time.
I was so confident with it.
All right. It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
We just did.
Yes, exactly. Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
And Pulis.
Aye.
Item 19.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department regarding a land donation of 23 parcels in southwest Rock Island from Riverstone Group for $1 plus closing costs. First reading.
Motion to approve the purchase of 23 parcels from Riverstone Group for $1 plus closing costs, subject to minor attorney modifications, and consider the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Nay.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 20.
Report from the Public Works Department regarding a resolution declaring the City of Rock Island's allotment of motor fuel tax funds for Phase 1 engineering of the CRI Job 2831 30th Street resurfacing reconstruction from 5th Avenue to 18th Avenue.
Move to adopt the resolution declaring the City of Rock Island's motor fuel tax funds be utilized for Phase 1 engineering of the CRI Job 2831.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hertz.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Item 21.
Report from the Community and Economic Development Department requesting permission to negotiate a contract with the Quad Cities Chamber of Commerce for a downtown place management organization.
Move to approve the resolution and direct the city manager and other city staff to negotiate a contract with the Quad Cities Chamber of Commerce for downtown place management services.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion?
You want to go first? You go first.
Yes, obviously, it's had a lot of feedback, talk. I guess my questions are in this, who is actually doing the negotiating?
I would lead the negotiations. I would include Miles. My approach to this would be to get some additional input from the council and kind of lay out the key terms that I think need to be negotiated and my position on them, so that I would represent, you know, the will of the council or what's important to them. But myself and Miles would be the people that would negotiate the contract. Okay. And it would go through, you know, probably multiple feedback from the council. So as we drafted it, it wouldn't be a situation where I would bring something back to you that would be a surprise to you.
Are you going to get any feedback from business owners and residents down there at all? Chamber has, so the
Yeah.
question is the city?
Not in a formal fashion.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's fine.
to date, you know, I've talked with people in the downtown, stakeholders have had the opportunity to come to public meetings and voice their concerns. We've got an input tool on the website where people can provide input as well. So you would certainly, you know, take that into account.
I just feel that there is a lot of questions. I can tell you I'm going to vote yay for it, and that is so the chamber, I would hope, negotiates in good faith. I think the budget proposal that they brought to us the first time is completely unacceptable. I think 44% going towards basically the chamber's coffers is absolutely unacceptable, and I really want to see the chamber, I hope, negotiate and come to the table with something, or I will absolutely vote against it. So that's my stance on it, and I'll leave it at that.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Alderperson Gilbert.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
My question is, and I think you've answered it already, but you are going to bring the final agreement back to council so that we can at least voice our concerns if there are any, or give our congratulations for a well phrased contract.
Correct. You know, I think foresee it as being an interactive process, and at the end, before bringing forward an item for consideration, I'll have given the council time to look at it.
Will that go out to each council member so that we can look at it prior to the meeting, or?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, we want to avoid having a meeting via email, of course, so it would be,
Right,
interactive
no,
between myself
understand.
and individual council members, but I would certainly give everybody the opportunity to look at it and provide input to me.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No,
I will
it's
concede to
fine.
the
It's fine.
alderperson from the 3rd Ward.
So I want to follow up on one item that Alderman Healy brought up about listening to the residents and the business owners, because this has come up before when they've come to speak. We just got an email from Jose and Sarah this afternoon, and they own 5 parcels in the downtown. They do not support the chamber. They've been upfront about that from the very beginning. They think the cost is unacceptable. They're not even sure, even if a different manager would brought in, it would make any sense. They want the city to consider approaching Dari, or, as they stated this afternoon, put out a job opening to bring someone in to run the SSA, and we appreciate your consideration of our opinion. And I've heard this repeatedly from several property owners and businesses that they just don't feel like council is listening to their concerns, that they're being shut out of the process. We've heard the same thing. Jose and Sarah own a landmark business. I've talked to other property owners who own landmark businesses in downtown, and they're not in favor of negotiating with the chamber either. Some of the concerns that I personally have about the chamber is the chamber could not personally contact every property owner to discuss the SSA and the tax with them. And let's not forget, it is a tax. So if every property owner didn't have an opportunity to be part of the discussion, are they going to get shut out again if we go ahead and establish an SSA? It certainly appears they're being shut out. When the chamber staff made their presentation on July 25th, there were so many questions that were asked by council members that could not be answered, have not been answered, and I know the property owners continue to have a lot of questions and are not getting answers. So how can they be expected to support something if they don't have the details even yet? And if we're to rely on just the chamber's presentation, which I think has been, I've heard a big resounding no from a lot of property owners, residents, businesses too. They did not like what they heard in that presentation. The process that the chamber used when they began this process, it was not a public process, it was not inclusive. If we negotiate with them to run the SSA, how can we guarantee that it will be a public and especially an inclusive process? Another factor that many property owners, business owners stated publicly right here at the podium, misrepresentation of facts by the chamber. And that was not something we just heard once. We heard that repeatedly about misrepresentation of facts. Some of them are on the list supporting the SSA tax. I know for a fact that's no longer true. How can we even begin to trust the chamber when we keep hearing these same concerns? Another concern I have, the chamber owns no property in Rock Island. They have no skin in the game. Dari, by comparison, owns 12 properties in downtown Rock Island. Economic Growth owns another 26 properties, and they pay $364,000 a year annually in property taxes. Those two organizations have plenty of skin in the game. Why would we want to enter into negotiations with an organization that has no skin in the game? The budget that was put forth, I think Mr. Wakefield mentioned that too, 44% of the budget going to 2 salaries and a management fee for the chamber. I've heard a lot of opposition to that proposal. So that is a big stumbling block. The one thing that I noted in the Chamber's proposed budget, and then when we received the initiating SSA tax ordinance, it says, these services shall be provided. Shall means you must provide them. Items like furniture, flowers, signage, window washing, snow removal, decorative lighting, holiday decorations. First of all, there's no way that budget includes the costs for all of those items. Absolutely impossible. And again, if chamber staff had talked to all the property owners, they would know at a minimum what services are most important to them, and then a proper budget could have been prepared. One of the other key factors that I really think we have to take into account, a resident came forward. I had asked about this at the July 25th presentation about the renters and what their demographics are. Chamber staff did not even consider that at all. And a resident, Robert Burke, came to us and said, it's the poorest of the poor who live downtown. Median income, $13,000 a year or less. They will be hit the hardest by this tax. That was not taken into consideration. It's often said that the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. I, for one, do not want this kind of organization that the Chamber has shown us that they are running the downtown Rock Island SSA. They have alienated so many business and property owners. They've cut them out of the process. They are adamant, no chamber involvement, these same businesses and property owners, and many of them freely admitted they would support an SSA, but not if the chamber is involved. And yet the city continues to push the chamber for management of the SSA. I think we need to find an entity that does not bring all this baggage with it, and another entity, and I'm not saying Dari, either any other entity, would probably have a much greater opportunity to bring a majority of businesses and property owners to work together for the benefit of the downtown. Right now, there's only a small minority that are agreeing to this, and even when there are questions about, well, what about this, or how do you think the chamber's going to do that? Most of them freely admit, well, I don't know how they're going to do that. I'm sure they'll be able to figure it out. I hope they'll be able to figure it out. So I just think moving forward with the chamber does not increase the likelihood for success. And I'll be voting nay.
I'd like to say a couple things. There was just a whole lot there. First of all, I don't think Dari is a viable option for running this, quite frankly, because they own property, and in my opinion, that's a conflict of interest. Because will they be unbiased? One would assume they would, but in the minds of other property owners, you never know. You can bring another entity in, which you can always do that. They're gonna have to hire someone, they're gonna have to study it. It will take the current plan and derail it for at least 1 to 2 years. The contract with the chamber is for 5 years. After year 2, you're going to know if it's successful or not. If it's not successful, then at that point, another entity, if they are interested, can start pulling a plan together so that at the end of the 5-year term, we can seamlessly move to another entity without any breakage, stoppage in the SSA. Also, I would like to say that the chamber has experience of success on their side. Look at Davenport. Look at Moline, look at Bettendorf. There's experience there. I would like to ask anyone on this council, has anyone ever given you a second chance when you made some missteps? Because I can say I've been given a second chance. And we learn from our mistakes. I don't call them mistakes, I call them learning experiences. So if there's anyone here who has never been given a second chance because they've never done anything wrong, then by all means, vote against this. I also would like to say that the steering committee is going to be made up of business owners who will decide how their own money will be spent. The chamber is not going to decide by themselves how this money is to be spent. It will be decided by the steering committee. I may also add that this contract is with the chamber, so it also behooves the council to not micromanage any part of this contract. We don't ask Valley Construction how much they pay their foremen. We do not ask Valley Construction when we do a project with them, we don't want this person, we want that person. We don't ask Valley Construction that we want to know how much you're paying in benefits. We are contracting with a vendor, and that vendor will do the job with the person they feel is best suited for that job. And as I said before, it's a 5-year contract. You get started with an organization that has a proven record of success with SSAs. You start moving forward, and it's going to become clear if there's an issue, and I guarantee you, the steering committee and the business owners will bring that issue forward, if not to council, then to the chamber, and things can be decided at that point. But I think to go ahead and derail and delay this for another year or two is not benefiting our downtown at all. If we don't move forward with this, then we may as well just close the door on our downtown, because nothing's happening down there, and we need to give our downtown, we need to give the tax base of Rock Island, and we need to give the Rock Island residents a chance at a successful revitalization of our downtown. And for that reason, I will vote yes.
Yes, sir.
So I just want to make sure I understand the next process. The whole purpose of the negotiations is so we can answer those questions. The questions that are kind of cloudy right now to us, you know, how things are going to kind of work out, the costs and all that. That is the whole purpose of negotiations, correct?
Yeah, we'll address the concerns that have been expressed during the negotiation process and put together an agreement to provide safeguards and assurances that some of the things that, the council's concerned about, we'll be able to address.
Okay. So, I mean, I asked that question just to kind of go back on some of the comments that were made. It's not that we're not listening to the residents. We have to kind of go forward in steps so we can gather that information. We have to understand everything that we're working with. We can't make a decision based off of one-sided approach, because then we're not doing justice for anybody. At this point, we have to kind of go through these steps so we know what we're dealing with. I know it seems like we're just, pushing through this and just passing it as is. That's not the case. That's why negotiations are going to happen, so we can fine-tune some of the things that were proposed to us. Everything that was proposed, and I think I said this before, is not going to be accepted in this negotiation. There will be some tweaks and changes in that. That's why we still have to have that voice. We're hearing everything our residents are saying. We're hearing what our businesses are saying. But unless we get that fine-tuned information with these negotiations, we won't be able to make a sound judgment. It will be just you're going off of impulse. So that's the whole purpose of why we're going the steps we're going right now. I just want to clarify that for those who are in attendance and those who are listening. It's not that we are not listening to you. We are. I know I have questions, and I'm waiting on these negotiations so I can get those questions answered. I can't answer them right now. I can't get those answers right now until we do this next step. That's all I got.
There are things that can't be changed, though. The map can't be changed, correct?
No, the map can be changed. That's the whole thing, yeah.
After the public hearing.
After the public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just keep in mind, you're talking about two different things, the formation of SSA and then the agreement
The management.
for placemaking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
any-
well, I would maybe
sorry.
perhaps close representing the downtown, and really just try to, again, articulate my appreciation to the business owners, the real estate owners in downtown Rock Island that have stepped up and said, we want to do this. We would not be here at this point without your support. I've had the privilege and I've appreciated representing you on this city council for the past almost 6 years. The conversations that we've been having, that you've all been hearing for the past couple of months, I've been hearing for a lot longer than a couple of months, and I'm looking forward to working in partnership with our business community that are behind this proposal to start making some progress on these long-awaited things. And so I just really want to say thank you to the Chamber for working with the city and the business community for doing your part to bring this proposal to the city for us to consider. And then more importantly, to say thank you to our business community. Obviously not everyone is on board with this proposal. Perhaps some will be swayed or whatever with the negotiations, but just thank you to the business community that have rallied behind this and said, we want something to change in our downtown, and frankly, we're willing to put our money where our mouth is, and that is huge. So thank you for that. I will continue to do my best to try to support you in our downtown, and I look forward to better times.
Good, thank you. Any further comment? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 22.
Report from General Administration regarding a resolution endorsing the overall ARPA plan.
Motion to endorse the ARPA plan and adopt the resolution.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussions?
Yes, I have a question about downtown security. I brought that up before, and I see it's still on the proposal. Are we still considering spending $300,000 on downtown security?
The proposal is to provide additional funding for security. The exact framework on what that would look like hasn't been determined yet. The chief believes the best approach would be to pay overtime to sworn officers.
Okay, I really have a huge problem with that, with the recent issues we just had this weekend, the week before, the previous issues. They're not in the downtown. They're in other parts of the city. So, I mean, if we're gonna spend resources somewhere to handle that, I will rather see that line item marked for those issues instead of specifically just for downtown. I have the big issue with that. We are not to that, I mean, based on the data that we have, we don't have, I wanna make sure I'm saying this correctly, we don't have the data to support the need for $300,000 for overtime for our officers to be in downtown. I would rather pay that overtime in specific areas to detail some of the shootings that we're having, these high-speed chases, the car thefts, those things that are in a geographical area.
May I?
Yes.
And I agree with you. Is it possible for us to change the wording on that to just say security or resident security, or however we can word it so that we have a little bit more flexibility to where if the police department decides that, and I'm not going to tell the chief where he needs to deploy his men, but deploy your men where you see the best fit, best need, and also include the downtown. I mean, I do want to include the downtown because we've heard time and time again that there is some concern about security downtown. Well, then we've heard it's more of a nuisance than a security issue. We definitely know that we have issues in other parts of the city that need extra attention, so that if we can word this in such a manner that we can at least address both areas or both problems, actually take the handcuffs off the chief. Let him deploy his men.
It's a hard sell for me, and I'm sorry. It's a hard sell for me because I'm standing in front of my residents the end of every month in my town halls, and I'm saying that we don't have the resources due to our funding, and then we permit $300,000 for downtown. That is a hard sell for me to continue to talk to my residents and say that.
I think that's a good suggestion. I think as much flexibility that we can get to deploy resources is a good idea.
We could amend it to say public safety instead of a specific area of council, so.
You're fine. So I'm in support of comments by both aldermen on this. I do agree that we have areas that are, and I've listened in on these downtown safety meetings, and I would agree that by listening to the data that was presented at that time. We do have, it's more nuisance things. I do agree, though, that we do need some security. I think, I'm going to, basically, to make it short, I agree with, let the chief decide where we need to put those resources. I mean, he's got the data, he knows where the problems are, so I'm all for, like you said, just give them some more flexibility with this and broaden that.
I will withdraw my motion then, correct?
Modify that. Real quick, I just want to add to that, it's not about ARPA monies and everything else, it's about, once again, some of the shootings or the gun violence and everything else. I just, I call it a side note or whatever, but the police chief and myself and some others did go out to Washington DC. And once again, it's not just money issues, it's personnel issues.
Right.
And so a request that we made to the U.S. senators, and we talked to 4 of them, personally and their staff, and it was to requesting resources, not really just money. It's resources, whether it be equipment or whether it be in personnel, to be located here, federal, whether it be ATF, whether it be FBI, et cetera. We're requesting in the Quad Cities, not just Rock Island, but in the Quad Cities. And so I just want to emphasize that it's, and try to get personnel, because that's sometimes the toughest.
Personnel costs money, so just.
But that's right, but that's exactly. So we can throw all the money at it, but if you can't hire anybody, what good is it?
Yeah, and I mentioned that at my
And
town
so-
hall, because you guys were actually out
We were in
there.
That's right, we were out, you see, at that time, when you were, I missed the last meeting. So it was a very positive response and everything else out there. Obviously, those wheels turn a little slower than what we wish at times. But we went out there as a Quad Cities, because the issue is a problem throughout the Quad Cities.
Right.
It's not just Rock Island, but we're concerned about Rock Island too. I just don't want to think that this is the only resource that we have in working with.
Well, and with all due respect, Mayor, I'm quite sure that the chief and the Quad City Area Chiefs of Police, their association, are discussing these very issues and giving him the ability to have a better control of how they deploy,
Yes.
I think might help us in the long run.
Correct. They met today, actually, so, yes. Okay, so we're going to make this minor adjustment to the,
Pending minor modification.
Yep, so both of you would need to withdraw your motion, correct, Dave?
I made
And
the
then the
second,
first.
and I'll withdraw my second.
I will withdraw my first motion.
okay,
Then motion to endorse the ARPA plan and adopt the resolution pending minor modifications.
Second.
move to second. Any further discussion?
Good job, Moses.
Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Item 23.
Report from the Finance Department regarding a budget adjustment for the Public Works Department Fund 501, increasing revenue and expenditure budgets for CY 2022 by $113,500.
Motion to approve the budget adjustment as recommended.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Item 24.
Report from the Traffic and Engineering Committee regarding the honorary street name dedication policy and application.
Move to approve the policy and application as recommended.
Second.
Move to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Item 25.
Report from the Traffic and Engineering Committee regarding a request to remove the handicap parking space in front of 2837 9th Avenue, first reading.
Move to approve the request as recommended, suspend the rules, consider, and pass the ordinance.
Second.
Show off.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Item 26.
Report from the Traffic and Engineering Committee regarding a request to reduce the speed limit to 20 miles per hour on 14th Street between 32nd and 42nd Avenues.
Move to approve the request.
Second.
Moved and second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker. Pulis.
Aye.
Item 27,
Report from the Mayor's Office regarding reappointments to the Police Community Relations Commission and the Rock Island Housing Authority.
Motion to approve the reappointments as recommended.
Second.
moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Item 28,
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from Project Now to close 19th Street between 4th and 5th Avenues on Wednesday, October 12th, 2022, from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. for a mobile food pantry distribution.
Move to approve the street closing request as recommended.
Second.
moved to second. Any discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.
Item 29,
Report from the City Clerk's Office regarding a request from Alderperson Robinson to close 9th Street between 6th and 7th Avenues on Monday, October 31st, 2022, from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. for a community event with sound amplification.
Motion to approve the request as recommended.
Second.
moved to second. Any discussion?
I just want to clarify, so I didn't have on there any signatures. That space does not have any homes in the area that would be affected, so that's why it's not. Usually I annotate it if I would have, did it before, but I forgot to do it this time, I'm sorry.
Thank you for clarifying.
Roll call.
Alderperson Healy.
Aye.
Shoot it down.
Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Kids gonna come find you.
Item 30, other business. Anything out there?
I don't think much was made about it, but the land donation that did pass, well, first reading.
First reading.
I think could turn out to be a good thing for our city. It does have some parcels that hopefully we can develop, right, Miles? And, that could potentially be a huge donation, 583 acres. So I think while it is the majority swampland, there could be some good things done with that. So I just hope that passes the next time.
It's exactly. No, I think you're right. And who knows what you can do with the rest of it, whether it just goes to an organization, land bank type deal, or, Mayhem Marsh or the preservation, or the parks can do something with it, with an ATV trail, or who knows what, a nature deal.
Who knows what you don't know?
That's exactly. And so I think it's a nice gesture on Riverstone's part. Not to happen.
Just real quick, so on Halloween, and that was the whole reason for the street closing, I will be hosting a trunk or treat event. Typically, my church does it right across the street, but they're still kind of on COVID lockdown, so that's why we had to move it to the location that is proposed in the request. But it's during the times of regular trick or treat, 5 to 8, and what it is a safe alternative for kids to, right now we have a lot of stuff going on in the street, so it gives them a safe place to come and receive candy.
Yep, it's wonderful. Anything else? I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
To adjourn.
Here, second. Any no discussion? Roll call.
Alderperson Healy. Robinson.
Aye.
Hurt.
Aye.
Gilbert.
Aye.
Swanson.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Pulis.
Aye.